Challenge activity 6.1.1. For section 6.1, we're looking at confidence intervals. And so in this case, we're trying to estimate the population mean from a sample of data. So basically we have a small sample of data and we'd like to know the mean that's associated with the population that sample represents. So let's take a look at this activity. The average amount of time in minutes for students to complete a standardized test is normally distributed. A data analyst takes a sample of n equals 44 student times and finds a 90% confidence interval to be 102.6 to 137.4. That means that 90% of the time we would that true population parameter would be in this interval. Another way you might hear some people interpret it as saying we are 90% confident that the true population mean is in that interval. What is the population parameter? We're looking at the population mean, and in this case, we're looking at the time to take the test. So, an average amount of time taken on the test by all students, the average amount of time taken on the test by the sample. That's the sample parameter, right? That's our sample mean, and the sample size n tells us that's the sample size. So that first option is our correct one. What is the interpretation of the confidence interval? So we already know it's not 10. We're going to be looking at one of these 90% options. So 90% confidence exists that the average time taken on the test is between 102.6 and 137.4. 90% of the sample data falls between that interval. We don't care about the sample data. We're making an estimate about the population. And then 90% of the students will take between 102.6 and 137.4 minutes to complete the test. Well, we don't know that, so we're going to say that the 90% confidence exists that the average time taken on the test is between that. So we're saying that we are 90% confident that this is it. Check. Nice little green check mark. Next. All right. A clothing retailer is interested in the average waist size of men. A sample is taken with the results given below. So this is, again, some Excel output. So when you start working these problems in Excel on your own, you can get a table like this if you use that data analysis tool pack. So the first thing we're going to look at is what is the sample statistic. So remember the sample statistic is X bar, or our sample mean. We're going to get that from right here, 41.32. Our point estimate. In this case, again, remember our point estimate is what we use as the middle of our confidence interval, and in that case we do use the sample mean. So our point estimate is the same as our sample mean. What is the level of confidence as a decimal? It tells us right down here we're looking at 90%. And remember, if we switch that percent to a decimal, we get 0.90 or 0.9. What is the margin of error? So this result here, where it says confidence level, this result 2.509, that is your margin of error. That's not your confidence interval. That's your margin of error. And that's going to help you get your confidence interval. So that's 2.509. Now, what is the confidence interval? So remember that our confidence interval, I'm just going to write CI for short, is equal to, we have the estimate, estimate plus or minus that margin of error. I'm just going to write M. So remember that estimate, that's our X bar. So this equals X bar plus or minus M. Now, we have X bar, that is 41.32, and then we need to add and subtract 2.509. So our lower bound of the interval, I'm just going to write lower bound, is going to be that 41.32, subtract 2.509, and our upper bound is going to be 41.32 plus 2.509. I'm going to go ahead and type those into the calculator. Again, you can do this in Excel, or you can do this in any calculator you've got. I'm just doing it right here handy. 38.811. And then this is going to be equal to 43.829. So let's go ahead and put those answers over here. We have 38.811 for our lower bound. Our upper bound is going to be 43.829. Let's check our answers. Oop, nice little green check there. So that's just how you kind of define your parameters and the different numbers that you get from Excel. And remember, your point estimate is going to be your X bar or sample mean when we're doing the confidence interval for the mean. Next week, we'll be talking about hypothesis tests and confidence intervals for the population proportion. So in that case, our population parameter would be a proportion. But like I said, this week we're focusing on the mean. So let me know if you have any questions about this or anything else from this section.